Mackenzie, go first. No, you don't have to, because I want to. Okay, so just for a little bit of context, so it's just me and Mackenzie here, and Chris and Carlos died in a car crash about 30 minutes ago. But Chris, I just got off the phone with Chris, and he currently, at the time of this recording, has it at a 6 out of 10. Which is positive. That he says it's a good movie, but he has his complaints with it, which I think is shocking. Because like I said, I just got off the phone with him, so I'm literally gonna repeat everything I just said, and Mackenzie's gonna want to kill me, but fuck it, it's for the vid. I think this was probably great, honestly. Like, I loved just the look and feel of this. I think at just the opening shot of the kid. I'm forgetting his name because I'm horrible at Japanese names. Literally,
I can't remember.
Yeah, it sucks. But the main kid who we kind of follow, the younger one that he goes by nope, forgot. Anyways, there he is on screen. But just the opening shot of him in that field and everything, it's it kind of set the tone, and I was like, okay, this is really good looking. And I think to me, this definitely has pungency and style, you know what I mean? Chris made the claim, which was kind of shocking to both of us, that stylistically it doesn't really have too much to offer or something like that. What did he say exactly? Something like that, right?
Yeah, something along the lines that made it seem like this is a normal-ish movie.
A normal-ass movie, which was I looked at Mackenzie and we both were like, whoa, no ways. Neither of us think that. But the thing is, Chris admitted that, he watched this, a year ago?
More than that.
Yeah, more than that, yeah.
A year and a half.
Yeah, he watched it, a year ago, and, his main complaints were that, it's for some reason felt like an anime, which was distracting to him, and he hates children. For some reason, he just doesn't. For some reason, movies about kids kind of bother him. He just finds them uninteresting. It's kind of in one ear and out the other. But yeah, I think he just needs to rewatch it at some point, because I don't think he'll love it, but I think he should check it out, because to me, and I'm sure to you, this definitely had style. I personally, I don't think it's the most unique thing in the world. I was gonna say some of it reminded me of Sion Sono. It kind of reminded me a little bit, and it's not even just because it's Japanese. It's literally just some of the camera movement and the handheld stuff felt like it was Love Exposure.
No, yeah. Sion Sono, Hideaki Anno, and this director, they're the big three of the 2000s Japanese movies.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, no, this is a really good movie. I would say the one thing I kind of agree on with Chris is but not even. Actually, no, I guess not, because he was gonna say it's just he just is kind of just uninterested with the when it comes to kids. It's I guess he just finds it, I guess, boring, or not really much food for thought. He just doesn't care, you know what I mean? To me, it's I find these characters definitely interesting, because something I said on that phone call was that you see these kids that are, very much struggling in life, whether it's being bullied or whatever other reason, and I'll get into more detail about that in a second, but how they unknowingly, are connected, unknowingly connected is through music, you know what I mean? And it's they are so, and something that I said, which I think is true for a lot of people, is when you're young and you kind of, it's definitely coming of age thing. It's something where it's adolescence. When you're when you're in adolescence and you kind of find something that just moves you, something that just makes sense, whether it's an art form or just whatever, that kind of hits you. It's kind of all you really care about, and it's all that really shapes your life, And in this case, for a lot of these kids, it was music. It's they just talk about how incredible it is, and like this ether thing, which is like the source of life, you know, it's like it fuels life, and how like Lily Chou Chou is like the princess of it, you know, it's like she is the one who kind of introduced the ether to these kids, you know, so it's like you can see how like passionate they are and how important it is to them. Like they talk about how much they want to die, and like, but it seems like this, just even the song names, like, you know, typing the song names to each other, it gives them life again, you know, it's so invigorating. But then, you know, in the real life, you see them just getting brutalized, you know, it's like they're thieves, some of them legit, like, some of them get raped, you know, it's like, it's brutal. There's a lot of life and death in this. Honestly, they're very different movies in terms of, honestly, I'd even say, like, style, but it kind of reminded me of this. It's just similar to Y Tu Mama Tambien. This movie has a lot of just life and death in it. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a lot of just following these people as they struggle and they kind of experience life. I think one of my most favorite characters in this, crap, I'm racist. The taller kid that was like a good kid, you know, people thought he was brilliant, but Blue Cat, yeah, that works. Yeah, Blue Cat, which was his name on the website that they used to talk about, you know, Lily Chou Chou. Blue Cat, basically, you find out slowly, honestly, like through little like blips of conversation or short lines of dialogue where like you kind of figure out his character more and more, that he's this guy who comes from like a state of like rich family, you know, like successful, seen as really smart, and then, you know,
his mom was really hot.
Yeah, apparently. And you slowly kind of find out, you know, it's like his family business like went to fucking rubbish, you know, it's like it just collapsed in on itself. You find out that, you know, everyone thinks he's a genius, but he got 7th place, and like people think that he's lying about it, you know, so it's like he kind of feels that pressure. He is bullied, he is made fun of. You know, it's like that relationship he had with the girl that introduced him to Lily Chou Chou, you know, it's like he kind of is longing for that. He's embarrassed, but he doesn't really want to talk to her because it seems like they're just not the same, you know, like they can't even talk to each other anymore. Yeah, it's really interesting, his character, to me, you know what I mean? And I feel like that was the one like I paid attention to the most, like, wow. And like, you know, he went from this, you know, high class, almost goody two shoes kid to what he is by the time he dies. Spoilers, obviously, but fuck it. You know, it's like, you know, he becomes just like this horrible kid, you know what I mean? I mean, he organizes like the rape of that one girl.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that, I mean, unless I didn't follow, is that the girl that introduced him?
Yeah.
Exactly. See, it's just like, yeah, he just becomes a horrible kid, and like, you know, he steals that one kid's ticket in the end just because, I don't know, he just, you know, he's just an asshole. Like, he just changes so much, and I think like that's one of the biggest turning points of how he went from, you know, the goody two shoes to the asshole, is when they were on that trip in Okinawa. It's like he had those two close to death experiences, and it just seemed like he realized, like, wow, you know, it's like it's not really shown or talked about that much, because like it's kind of sudden how all of a sudden he's just like a horrible kid, you know. But it's like, it's clear to me that, you know, it's like that kind of made him realize something, and something clicked with him. And even though he still loves Lily Chou Chou's music, it's just like he just changed, you know what I mean? Like, he's no longer as filled with life as he was before, and it's just, he's just changed, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how life goes sometimes with a lot of people. So yeah, no, I think there's a lot to this, but sorry, I'm kind of going in a yapping sesh. What do you have to say?
No, this is my second time watching this. The first time when I saw this, I loved it. It was instantly like one of my favorite movies ever. And even still today, after watching it, it's still one of my favorite movies. Maybe my favorite movie. It's somewhere up there. But no, yeah, I like this. What Chris was saying, like with the style stuff.
I think he just doesn't fucking remember, because I think if he was sitting with us right here, he wouldn't say that shit. There's no way. This definitely has style.
No, yeah, and I'll say, like, it's not the most original or unique thing, but
Yeah.
I think the aesthetic of this movie, this is like my favorite. This probably is my favorite movie. I love pretty much everything about like all like this movie. The colors in this movie fit so well, all the blues and the whites and
the greens.
yes, exactly, and especially like those times where it'll be like the whites will just like shine like way too bright,
Super overexposed.
Exactly, and I
Yeah.
love that. That's awesome. And the music in this, this is my favorite movie soundtrack of all time. And even the I never got annoyed by the
Music cues and stuff.
the musical cues. Like I could see how people would, but they don't bother me at all. Maybe just because I love the song so much.
Yeah. For context, Chris in that phone call just before we started this recording mentioned how like some of the music cues were like corny or whatever. You know, it's like that kind of added to his point of it feeling like an anime or something like that. Which honestly, I didn't pick up on that.
I can see where he's coming from, but it doesn't bother me one bit.
I will make a claim though. I mean, the music that is in this is classical music that has been, heard a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like it's very well-known classical music. So maybe that does get to Chris because he doesn't like it when movies overuse that kind of like classical music. So that could be maybe a part of why maybe it bugs him a little bit. But
no,
continue with what you were saying.
He's definitely mentioned that he doesn't like that. No, yeah, I guess I was gonna say that's actually exactly what I was gonna say with the classical music, the Debussy piano pieces. I love them all, and obviously, I don't listen to a lot of classical music, so it doesn't bother me. But, and then the handheld camera in this, like, I think this movie, out of any movie that I've seen, maybe not does it best. But it's definitely up there, like with how much coverage this movie
exactly.
had.
I was just about to say the same thing. Coverage, yeah, no. Well, continue, you swine.
But yes, especially like there's like brief scenes, happens a couple times where like one of the characters will be laying in bed and like the camera will just kind of be like floating around their room a little bit, following them, and even like those small scenes I really love. And then something else specific is the scenes at night with the green night light. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
Seriously, those stuck with me too.
And I think my favorite part of the movie was when they go to the island with the camcorder. I love that. It's just like so. I mean, we've said this a lot. You said this a lot, I guess. It's so full of life, that part, and that part is also just where everything just changes also after that.
That guy that I was joking about probably being murdered.
That guy, yeah.
That character I think was very interesting as well, because like at first when I saw him and like he was just kind of had like a sudden and weird introduction, and so at first I thought he was going to be like a creep. I mean, how often do you see characters show up and just do horrible things in this movie? So it's just like, I was expecting something bad, but in reflection, it's just like he was just a hell of a kind guy. You know what I mean? Like he shows up and he hitches a ride with them, and he's like playing with their camcorders and stuff. He almost forgets to give it back. It's just like, and he keeps running into him. And then like an important part of like one of the most important scenes is like one of the last scenes we see with him before he dies, which is he's sitting down with like that main kid and talking just about like nature and stuff, and like how. Once again, it's like a life and death thing. Like he talks about how like nature kind of does that by itself. It's like, oh, that tree that literally wraps around other trees and strangles it. You know what I mean? It's just like that's how it survives. It's like he says, oh, if you put it in a time lapse, it would be horrifying. But he talks about like how beautiful it is. He has like that little book of just like all the different wildlife and animals in his little book. That guy himself is just so full of life. It's just that he's kind of naive, he's kind of foolish, and it's like the scene where you find out he died. That woman who hit him explains like it was his fault. Like he jumped out in front of the car, like he just wasn't paying attention. Yeah, it's just like that. Even that character, it's just like this, just a very brief introduction, very like brief screen time character that I feel like just had a lot to offer. You know what I mean? It's like. He was obviously older than the kids, he was like more of an adult, and it's just he was just happy to be there with them and teach them and stuff. And the fucking scene where the tall guy, Blue Cat, almost drowns, and it's
Mhm.
just like under the water, and it's
Yeah.
blue, and the music, and it does get overexposed here and there, and it's like the camcorder going in and out of the water. That was fucking great.
Mhm.
Like, I loved that. That was probably one of my favorite scenes, honestly, maybe my favorite scene. And but what else?
No,
What
yeah,
else?
similar. What you mentioned before with that character, it's again to Y Tu Mama Tambien. When they find the beach and they meet that like guy, his wife, the fisherman.
Oh yeah! Oh my god, dude, we got to rewatch that movie.
Movie's
Yeah,
awesome.
I will say, like, I imagine, because, like, yeah, when I watched Y Tu Mama Tambien, that was just easily a 10.
Yeah.
And I've been keeping it at a 10. I think I, like, lowered it on my favorites list, but it's still, like, at a 10. Like, dude, that movie, I feel, is, like, because, just because we're relating it to this movie, that movie's, like, fucking astounding. I feel like the only thing, like, with this movie, what's holding me back from, like, really loving it is... similar thing, like things I mentioned before, where it's like in terms of like depth, it's not
that deep.
Yeah, it's not necessarily anything that just really makes my brain tick.
Yeah.
But like as it went along, I just started to like get more involved in terms of just like the style was just kind of pulling. You know what I mean? And so yeah, like to me, it's something that like I loved to just look at and kind of feel. While Y Tu Mama Tambien, I was feeling it, but also it's just like. There were so many characters like that in brief little moments, where it was just like, not even like characters. It's just like that one, like in Y Tu Mama Tambien. I won't turn this into an Y Tu Mama Tambien review, I swear. But the scene in Y Tu Mama Tambien where it's like they're driving and
I just remember that.
It's like the wedding or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's like that was just so fucking brilliant. It's so brief, but it's just like it's beautifully shot. And it's just like you see these people celebrating and they kind of join in and stuff as they're passing through. It's just so, like, it's so simply done, but it is so goddamn effective. And that's kind of, like, that's what I'm saying. Y Tu Mama Tambien is full of that. And I feel like if this movie was even more full of characters, like the guy that was in Okinawa that died from a car accident, I feel like if it was just even more peppered with just, like, these just filling moments, I feel like I'd love this movie even more. But, yeah, like... Honestly, I really don't have much complaints for this, you know what I mean? Like, I can't think of anything that I truly find wrong with it besides the fact that, like, I guess sometimes I just couldn't quite sink my teeth in, you know what I mean? And sometimes when the text would come up on screen, I would forget who was who, and I was a little bit confused because it's kind of, like, it's fast, and it's like, oh, who's this? But eventually I figured it out in the end, and it was like, no, this is a really good movie. It's, like I said, it's arguably something I'd put on my favorites. Yeah, but... What else do you have to say?
Yeah, I would say this one is probably. I think I like it more on a second watch. I mean, I loved it both times, but I think when you see like when the text comes up and from the beginning and like that guy's Blue Cat and the other guy is I forget his name. It's like. I can't remember.
It was meaning the main kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was like his name was named after the band that really Chou Chou was in before they separated. I'm forgetting what it was too, but yeah, we'll put it on screen.
Yeah.
But exactly. Exactly.
But being able to like see that from the beginning and knowing who they are and just like you know what's gonna happen, but it's still just so tragic. It's also something with this movie, watching it for the first time. Is like parts at the beginning are out of order.
Yes.
So like, cause like you see at the beginning, the main character is the one like getting bullied, like, but that's just because that happens after everything, after the beach and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
I remember when I first watched it, I was just like kind of confused at first, but.
I realized that it was told out of order. I realized because I was looking at it. I mean, literally, later in the movie, it comes back to that scene in the opening. You know what I mean? It's that exact same scene, and so that's like kind of when I realized like, oh yeah, no, this is literally, this is told out of order on purpose. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, which I also thought was kind of interesting. Yeah, no. I really do think Chris should watch this again. I think this definitely has style to it, both in visual and I think even in storytelling. You know what I mean? Like, I think I don't think like this movie yaps too much. You know what I mean? Like I'm serious. Like I don't think like obviously like it's like I don't know 2.5 hours. It's a decent movie in terms of length, but it's not like it was just like me. Like, there's a lot of scenes of, like we said, like when they went to Okinawa, of just them doing things.
Yeah.
And talking to each other naturally. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's like, I think this breaches into an 8 for me. I could see myself maybe lowering it to a 7, but it's still like a really, really high 7. You know what I mean? Like this is a really good movie. I think Carlos should check it out. You know what I mean? I don't see.
I have no idea with that guy.
Yeah, I don't know how his brain works, but I don't know. The point is with him, I feel like there are definitely things he would enjoy about this. You know what I mean? I think he would like the vibe of it at least. I don't know. I feel like did he like? I know completely different movies, but didn't he like Love Exposure, or was he kind of he fucking fell asleep? Oh my god!
But he did say he liked the first 2 hours that he watched.
Yeah, the first 2 hours. Yeah. Of a 4-hour long movie. Okay. No. I think Carl should check it out. I think Chris should rewatch it. But yeah, this is really good. I'm trying to think of like what else. Yeah, definitely. If you like Y Tu Mamá También, watch this. I do. Once again, I think Y Tu Mamá También is significantly better. But I'd say check this out. And yeah, I'll have to check out the other. What's the other one that Chris likes even more than this?
A Bride for Rip Van Winkle.
Yeah, and that one's pretty.
That one, yeah. I love that one. This guy he's probably
top 10.
Top 3. I love like all of his movies, and I will say though, like some of his other movies, I probably like give them excuses because, like for example, I couldn't see like you or Chris liking like some of his other movies, and I'll say like they even feel like I can even see that they feel like animes and stuff.
Okay.
But no, yeah, I love this guy. I think you would like a Bride for Rip Van Winkle at least a little bit.
I'll check it out. Yeah,
I don't think you'll love it, but
absolutely.
It's still a great movie, amazing movie.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, no, I'll definitely check out more of his work, and I want to check out more, because like, okay, I've only seen 2 films by Simon Seno. I hate anti-porno. Like I could not get behind that movie. Love Exposure, I liked. It was definitely a lot. Like so much happens in that movie, and I think sometimes it would just get to a point where it was like a little bit past my threshold of ridiculous, you know what I mean? Where it was kind of like getting on my nerves, even though that movie does have like a lot to offer. I do think like sometimes I was just like, a little out of it sometimes. Well, I wouldn't even say sometimes. It was kind of often that I was like that. But I don't know. Is there anything other that Simon Seno made?
Not that I see. Well, I have seen one other thing that was like just a short that he did a long time ago. But no, even I haven't really checked out his work yet. So I wonder.
Yeah. What was the short? Werner Herzog eats a shoe.
We should watch that.
Hell no. No, yeah. I want to check out more of like, I guess modern. Is it modern? I guess it's modern. I mean, it was within the past 20 years ish. So, yeah, I'm interested in watching more modern Japanese movies because I really haven't seen that many. It's like a lot of the stuff that I have seen in Japanese cinema is like just the classics and stuff from the 50s and 40s, 60s, stuff like that. Kurosawa, Kobayashi, just other motherfuckers. But
Ozu.
Yeah, Ozu, exactly. And now Mizuguchi. But yeah, so this is, I guess, just like my final thoughts. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I might have forgotten.
So many just images of this movie are so great. Like,
yeah, seriously.
Like, you could literally like go like skip to any point in this movie and wait like a minute, and there'll be like something that's like picture perfect.
Exactly.
I love it.
No, there's a lot of beauty to this for sure. I'd say like one of my favorite moments as well was like just before that one girl. It's so sad too. That one girl that basically is like forced into prostitution by Blue Cat. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, it's fucked up, man. Like it's definitely sad, but like it's like she kills herself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, but what's interesting to me because like, do you know what her name is is her name revealed on the website? I don't think she ever even gets on it.
I can't even. I don't think they ever say if she does.
Exactly. So that's what's interesting to me. It's like she literally is like given some of Lily Chou Chou's music by the main guy, and then it's just like that shot of her by that tower thing in the sky.
I love
dude.
That.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, I don't know, like, just maybe Chris, like I said, you guys just watch more anime than me, legitimately. Like, the only thing I've fucking seen is Dragon Ball Z in full. So, like, that's what I'm saying is, like, maybe you guys just, maybe Chris looks at that and thinks, like, yeah, it's just, like, an anime moment or something. But to me, I looked at it and I was like, bro, that's just the style of the movie. Like, that's just a crazy fucking shot. You know what I mean? Like, think of how what they probably had to do to get that, like, the amount of color correcting. And, you know what I mean? It's just, like, I think there's craft to this. And I think Chris is high if he says there's no style to this.
I think he
fucking forgot.
He forgot, and I think maybe when he watched it, he just, like, didn't care enough to even, like, think twice about some of the stuff or something. But,
yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe, I don't know. I definitely think you should rewatch it. But yeah, it's funny. He's going to listen to this. He's going to hear me roasting him. Sorry, Chris, I love you. It's just, you're wrong. No, but yeah, no, what you're saying is just like, actually, no, sorry. What I was saying about, the girl who's like a prostitute, it's just like, dude, all of a sudden she's just dead too. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like she probably jumped from that tower that we see. You know, it's so, damn.
No, it's just so sad. All of a sudden she's playing with the kites and stuff and
exactly.
laughing and everything.
She seems so happy, and just the shots of the kite in the sky were good too. Like, that's also one of my most favorite moments. That one hit, like, one of the hardest. And honestly, it feels weird saying it because, like, it's messed up, especially because they're literally kids. But, like, an impactful moment to me was when Kuno, I think was her name, when she was raped in that a warehouse. It's like, that was tough, you know what I mean? Because she seemed like, honestly, I think it was good acting. Because, like, you know, Kuno didn't really talk much at all. Up until that scene, really throughout the entirety of the movie, you know, she just played the piano. She played Debussy, right? Yeah, exactly. And it's like, to me, like, that scene was just like so hard to watch, and it's like, it did a good job of building up just fucking like hate towards that one other girl, that bully girl. It's like, genuinely, that scene where Kuno walks in and she shaved her head, and I see that girl staring at her, I was like, fuck this girl. And so that's a sign of good writing, you know what I mean? It's just like, I was like, damn, you know, it's just, it sucks. It really does suck. Even like that scene where it's like, oh, just because in order to like have the concert go well, Kuno wasn't even allowed to play the piano. She just had to stand there and watch everyone sing. Yeah. It's just like, it's just sad, you know? It's like, it's true that all these kids just like, you know, that are connected to this music and kind of like, they should understand each other, and it seems like, oh, they should be able to just, like, relate, you know what I mean, and just find, like, this friendship, but it just doesn't work out like that, you know what I mean? It's just, like, life has other plans, you know? So, yeah, no, I think this is a great movie. I think I'm going to give it an 8. I'll admit it's a light 8, and it's potential it could go down to a 7, but this is still a really good movie. Yeah, for sure. No. Anything else you want to say?
No, this is still top 4 probably, maybe top 1.
Jeez,
it's hard to pick at that point.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But no, yeah, I love this. I think this, out of like any movie that I've seen, this holds the top spot for like, this aesthetic is
that's you.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. Yeah, no, I get it.
I love it.
Yeah, no. All right then. Well,
5 out of 5.
What'd you say?
5 out of 5.
I thought you said 4 out of 5. I was like, fuck with. Thus concludes Lily Chou Chou. All about Lily Chou Chou.